Prosecutors in Venezuela have threatened to issue an arrest warrant for one of the opposition presidential candidates, Edmundo González, if he ignores a third summons to appear for questioning on Friday. Mr. González has been called to testify about his role in posting online voting data that appears to show he did win last month's election. While meanwhile opposition supporters have gathered in Caracas as their leader, María Corina Machado, came out of hiding to lead a protest against Venezuela's controversial election and the re-election of President Nicolás Maduro, which has been widely denounced as a fraudulent result. The opposition claimed they won a landslide in the election, and they say that Mr. Maduro has stolen victory from them. President Maduro has cracked down on his opponents, arresting hundreds of them. Well, I've been talking about the political crisis in Venezuela to Francisco Rodriguez, who's a professor at the Joseph Corbell School of International Studies at the University of Denver and author of a forthcoming book, Scorched Earth, The Political Economy of Venezuela's Collapse. But first, BBC Mundo's Angel Bermudez gave me an update on the number of people who have been arrested by Venezuela's security forces.
According to the NGO Foro Penal, almost 1,600 people have been arrested in Venezuela since the election night. They say that it brings the total number of people incarcerated in Venezuela for political reasons up to almost 1,800, including 100 minors. Among the detainees, there are several important political figures, like former MPs from the opposition, Freddy Superlano, Williams Davila, Americo de Gracia, and also close collaborators to the opposition leader, María Corina Machado, like Perkins Rocha, who was a spokesperson for her campaign and has just been detained last Wednesday.
So it's a big crackdown. Does it look like Maduro has effectively won?
Well, here's the thing. 1 month after the election, the political crisis is still unresolved, and the situation seems to be at a stalemate. Maduro is, the Electoral Council has not yet published the detailed results of the votes, and a sentence by the Supreme Court validating Maduro's alleged victory has been dismissed by the opposition, but also important countries, left-leaning governments in Latin America, like the one led by Lula da Silva in Brazil and the one led by López Obrador in Mexico, they're still asking for the Venezuelan authorities to publish the detailed results so they can give some credibility to the electoral process.
OK. Professor Francisco Rodriguez, can I ask you, what is your analysis of what's going on in Venezuela? Can the opposition in any way take power, do you think, after this crackdown from Maduro, even though countries around the world are saying the election was fraudulent?
Yes. Well, first of all, there's definitely a substantial amount of evidence that Edmundo González won. The Venezuelan electronic voting system is actually designed to provide a lot of reliable information, including the printed tally sheets, which have a QR code associated with them. And the opposition has published 83%, more than 83% of these tally sheets, and they give Mr. González a very wide margin, so much so that even if all the other 100% of the 17% of the tally sheets, which are not available to the opposition, went in favor of Maduro, he would still have lost the election. So and there's a big credibility problem what the Electoral Council has announced, because they have just announced an aggregate number. They have not provided, as required by law and as customarily done in Venezuela, the voting center level results. So effectively, it very much looks like this was a blatantly rigged election. Now, that said, does this mean that there's going to be political change in Venezuela? Well, up until now, the military leadership has been steadfastly in support of Nicolás Maduro. So we're not seeing any signs of cracks in the military. We are seeing protests and we are seeing the opposition supporters come out into the streets, but we're also seeing the government cracking down on them with the type of repression that was just described. So I don't think, while there's definitely been a great achievement in terms of the opposition of going against a rigged political system and rigged elections and being able to win and to demonstrate to the international community that they won, and while Mr. Maduro completely lacks any democratic legitimacy as president of Venezuela, it still seems that he continues to have the support of the military.